So, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on today's discussion regarding the way forward beyond the economic crisis. So, joining us today is Dr. P.H.R. Suravira. So, let me give you a brief description of introduction to Dr. Suravira. Uh, Dr. P.H.R. Suravira is a medical graduate from the University of Kelaniya in 1996, and he has a postgraduate diploma in business management from the University of Wayamba in 2010, followed by a master's degree in business administration in 2012, also from the University of Wayamba. And he also has a PhD in business management from the University of Keisei International in South Korea from 2016. So, would you, Dr. Suravira, would you like to give us a bit of an overview on your current portfolio?
Thank you, Dr. Srimal. And first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Darshan Sirisena and Dr. Prasad so inviting me for this important event. Since I'm not a current member of GMOA because I'm not in the government sector, but I was a member in GMOA. So as ex-member, it's a very pleasure to talk you about my specialty of business management today, especially heading to the headquarters of GMOA. And of course, current portfolio, Dr. Srimal, I'm engaging in business activities and clinical activities as well as the academic activities. So currently, I'm the managing director of a few organizations, and not only medical organization, but also some other organization as well. I'm doing some advisory services to leading organizations of Sri Lanka as well as international, the global other organizations. I'm working for the American company as a business management consultant. And in Peradeniya University, of course, I'm a visiting lecturer and the examiner for the Allied Health Science faculty, the medical laboratory management discipline. And recently, of course, we have started in the teaching medical students the business management and the organizational management. So actually that module was formulated by myself and submitted to the curriculum board of the University of Kelaniya, the Faculty of Medicine, University of Kelaniya. That is my university. So of course, I'm proud to say that we were the first batch of the Kelaniya Medical School, and then that was approved, and we have started teaching the fourth year medical students the business management. So I think that is very important in current context of the current global context. It's very important doctors to learn about the ethical businesses, because the healthcare itself is a market. Whatever said and done, it's a market. So the people who are expert in healthcare should learn the proper the principles of the ethical principles of the business management. So that is what my the effort. Otherwise, when they come into the business world, so doctors may do some unorthodox. So to prevent that, of course, we have started this sort of thing. Even today, when Dr. Darshana invited me, so I was very happy to accept this invitation, because I feel that I can give some message to all the GMA membership about this. So there is an entity of the ethical business component in the healthcare sector as well.
Yes. So thank you, Dr. Suravira. Yes, that is very interesting to note. So coming back to today's topic, what do you think is the current state of the Sri Lankan economy?
Actually, today's topic is the economic way forward beyond economic crisis. Then we must understand what is economic crisis. Because before you understand the economic crisis, I think I thought that it is better you to have some idea of the economic cycle. Because any trade, any field, so there is an economic cycle. So this is a natural cycle, natural happening. Any business module or any organization or the country or even globally, you get the business expansion in one time period, and then it comes to a peak. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is the cycle. This is the diagrammatic expression of the business cycle, and so you get the expansion here, right? The first you get this expansion, and then you get the peak here, right? You get the peak here, and then the recession. It goes into the recession, right? It goes into the recession, and then if this line, if the baseline, if it going beyond the baseline, we call it depression, right? Depression. So this area is the dangerous time for a country or a person or organization, whatever or whoever, right? So this is very important you to understand this depression phase, right? And then it comes to a trough. So that is the bottom of the depression, right? So then if you survive this, in this the below the baseline, so then you start to expansion, right? This is the normal cycle. Now the challenge is to how to survive in this the below the line, bottom line. So that is what is important. Now even our country, from starting from last March, so we have gone into the depression phase. Of course, that was not a normal cycle. Even that what happened to the country. So it was just like a breakdown here. It was somewhere peak or somewhere the above the line, right? Exactly, you can't say where we were in last March, but suddenly it was collapse. It was collapsing up to the trough, right? Up to the trough, right? So even sometimes you can say it may have gone even to the minus level, right? If you say this line, even sometimes it may have gone to the minus, right? But still the most important thing is it has not gone like a normal cycle, normal phenomena with the time, right? It's a sudden collapse. So that is the problem. So even if you get like in medicine, if you get the low hemoglobin level, even up to if it is a gradual blood loss, it nothing will happen to the patient, right? Even I have seen even 4.5 hemoglobin level patient. You may all have seen it. So, but if you lose the blood suddenly, then everybody of us know what's going to happen to the patient. So like that. So in Sri Lanka, in the economy also the same. If it happens in gradually, then of course then you can sustain that, right? When it happens suddenly, it's a very, very difficult you to sustain with that. So it's like the taxation of the salaries now, right? The same thing, right? In even in other countries, of course, sometimes you get the 49% taxation through salaries in after the certain level. But when it comes to the sudden impact, it's a very difficult everybody to sustain with the sudden changes. But of course, gradually, if it would have increased in gradually, then of course, then it may be able to bear everybody of us, and so we can sustain even with the very depression or the depressive state, right? So then it has now the economy is, I feel that now the economy has passed the trough, right? The bottom line here, the bottom line. Now it's started to raise or the expansion, right? Or the recovery, right? Now we are in the, actually we are not in the expansion level, but now we are in the recovery period. So I feel that the Sri Lankan economy is recovering now. Of course, so this is a debatable the point. But someone can have an argument, this is not yet the recovery and still we are going to the trough. But my personal view, as a engaging in lots of business and the economical activities, then of course I personally feel that now we have passed the most difficult time, and now we are in the recovery economy now in Sri Lanka.
Yes. So, so what are your ideas on solutions for overcoming this situation, our current situation?
Yes, it's a good question, Shrimal. Now, of course, so everybody can talk about the crisis and the we can criticize and the root causes and remedies and all. But now, of course, now the most important thing is to recover from this depressive state of economy of Sri Lanka. And even it has come to the personally also, we get we all have faced this crisis situation. So right now how are we going to overcome this, and how are we going to recover from this? So that is what is important now, right? Rather than just blaming each other and the blaming or to the government or whatever. Of course, the root causes has to be corrected. So that is there, and we'll have to identify the root causes, and we have to correct. We have to take the corrective action for the root causes. Yeah, that's there. That's any incompatibility or the non-conformity or whatever the things that when we talk about, and we identify the root cause, and then we take the corrective action, and then we take the preventive action. But unfortunately, as a country, the corrective actions and the preventive actions are not that in a sound situation. I must say that. Even yet in this country, everybody talk about root causes, right? But it doesn't seems to be the authoritative, the actively engage to get to implement the corrective action and the preventive action. And that's a unfortunate situation of this country that has to be corrected anyway, right? So that's beyond my topic today. So therefore I don't want to go more along that. But as a professional body in Sri Lanka, the most important and the most intelligent professional body of Sri Lanka, the clinician or the doctors of this country, of course. So we must know how to recover. If everybody recover individually, then of course the whole economy will recover. Of course, you will say that how individually you can recover if the infrastructure is not supporting, right? Infrastructure, the country's infrastructure should support that, right? Even if you go to an organization, if the organization is in the decline economy, so you have to boost it up with the infrastructure and the people, right? People, their knowledge and their skills. Of course, all those things are matter, and the motivation, right? The performance depend on the abilities. Abilities mean the knowledge and the skill, right? And then the infrastructure. So that is what. If I am not given this laptop and the camera and this WebEx platform, then of course I may not be able to deliver this lecture to the all over the country, right? So that is the infrastructure, and then I have to be motivated to do this, right? I should be motivated. Once Darshan asked me Can you do this? Yes. Then I said, yes, of course, that I will do it, right? So then that is the motivation. So that is the motivation. So these three factors has to be there. These three factors has to be there. So now coming back to the economy, then of course, okay. So this is again the same cycle, and this phase one expansion peak and the contraction or the trough and then the recovery. So as I said, so we are somewhere here, right? Or now see this, if you are going to start some sort of business or the prominent thing, prominent activities, of course, mentioned here, the outperforming activities, right? Information technology, now when it comes to the expansion stage, so it's information technology, financial, because with the as I said you, the now we are somewhere here. So yet of course the financial activities are all not that tough, that much prominent, because it has to be to develop the country, the financial indicators, or even the interest rate, the loan interest rate, and the FD interest rate should come to a one digit, right? The below 10, right? Below 10 level, right? So then that is a good indicator that is we are performing. So we have not gone up to that level. So, but now of course the treasury bills was about 3 months ago. Treasury bill, the interest was 32, right? 32%. But now it has fallen into the 29, right? 29. And the even the bank FD rates are now going down, right? Now there are some loan schemes are coming up now, right? Now there is Saubhagya or whatever. So there are some loan schemes are now just starting, right? So that means we have now we are in we have started the recovery. We have started the recovery. So then but still if you see this red area, the healthcare, consumer staples, and the utilities. So those are the businesses when you in a very the bottom of the economy, because still healthcare is there, because people have to live, right? And I suppose that the basic education also should be there, right? Basic education also, because education also people spend, right? The children should be educated, right? Because we have the higher literacy rate. So therefore, the Sri Lankans IQ is fairly high when you compare with the global the mean IQ, right? So therefore, the most of the middle class people are trying to teach their children. So therefore, even education also there, and so therefore, the healthcare, of course, it never goes down, right? So therefore, the healthcare as a business, of course, as an ethical business. Again, I would say it's an ethical business, and you should involve. Anyway, we all are, majority of us are doing private practices. So that means it's a healthcare market, so, right? So somebody may do not like to tell that, but it's whatever said and done. So that's the truth. So therefore, it's there even in the very depressive stage. So that's there, right? So now, of course, if you are investing for other things, other non-healthcare related or the healthcare non-related things, so then you have to think about the recovery phase, the real estate, industrials, and so on. So there are lots of other, even agriculture, right? Agricultural businesses. So for the doctor, of course, you can involve in that sort of businesses, because it doesn't cause any harm to the dignity, because the being high level professionals of this country or this world. So there are some businesses which we can involve, and there are some that we should not, right? We should not, right? You can't open up butcheries, so like that. And but of course, so there are some very decent and genuine businesses that even doctor can involve, right? Without compromising your clinical works, right? So that is very important. Shrimal, this is the current situation and the current business activities in as whole.
Yes. So, thank you, Dr. Surabhi. That was very informative and it gave us a bit of an insight into opportunities that we have currently. Any advice that you would have for any new entrepreneur, any medical professional who is interested in starting a business of his own? Anything you could give us?
Yes, the most important factor is the if you are going to start a business, and it's very important you to have some sort of analysis, because when it comes to the business, it's very important you to understand the data science. And the data is a very important aspect, right? We have to collect data. Sometimes we have to assess we have to the recall the general data, especially like population data, right? And the age and the health data. The usually the health ministry issue national health bulletins. I don't think that it was issued recent past, but I suppose that should be done in each and every year, like central bank report. Central bank, if the authoritative can attend to this, the gathering the data of healthcare in Sri Lanka, right, and the analyzing those things and presenting those things in a graphical manner or the tabular manner, so it would be very important us to analyze those data, right? And then once you come into the business or the personal your cash management, the working capital management is very important, right? The working capital mean readily available money that you can spend for at any time, right? At any time. So that is it's like the cash in the purse, right? If you tell it very simply, it's like a cash in the purse. Or if you have the card in the purse, then you can have the cash in the bank, right? Readily, not the FDs, but the normal savings account. Because nowadays, of course, nobody carries cash in the purse. It's like a card. It's most of time it is a card. Now, whatever it is, the readily spend the readily available money which can spend. That is very important, right? If you are a person who is drawing a monthly salary, or if you are a person who is running a small private practice or engaging channel practice or whatever, right? So in that case, of course, you will be getting the daily cash inflow, and the outflow, right? Daily, of course, we have to, everybody of us as an adult, so there will be some cash outflow. So this is a balance between cash inflow and outflow. It's like if you are an organization, if you don't have working capital, right, in your hand, in your organization, it's like the cardiorespiratory arrest, right? Whatever the root cause, right? It may be a bleeding, it may be a dehydration, it may be the even heart attack, whatever. As interns of our lives, so as interns, so you can remember. So because we interns are supposed to write the DC or the inquest. So in that case, of course, we write the death due to cardiorespiratory arrest, right? So like that, the area organization will be arrested if you don't have the working capital, right? So therefore, it's very important you to manage the working capital, and this is the small example for the working capital, right? So in current assets, there, right? Current assets, it is the cash. Inventories. Inventory mean if you are having an organization, then now, for example, it's like now the soap industry, right? If you have a 10,000 ready-made soap in your factory, right? In your stores, right? That is what is inventory, right? Then the raw materials, the available raw materials, which can be converted into the finished good, right? And then the account receivable, those who you give, you may give your stuff to the people, the traders on credit, and so that has to be received, right? Receivable. So then if you give it to a people who on credit basis, then of course you have to make sure that you are going to get it back, right? Otherwise there will be some problems. So then the what is the liabilities? Current liabilities are wages. So if you have people to pay salaries and other wages, then of course you have to do those things at the end of the month. Of course, whether you have money or you don't have, but still you are bound to pay the other salaries and the utilities like the water bills and electricity bills. Of course, nowadays electricity bills are very high, but still you're supposed to pay that. Otherwise, what happens? If you don't have money to pay that, then of course the electricity board people come and disconnect your the electricity supply. Then the whole process will be arrested. So then that is the end of the organization, right? If you're at home, right? If you're at home, even as a person, so if you are not in a position to pay your electricity bill, the whoever you, right? Except a politician of this country, right? There's another bad thing, right? So they will come and cut your electricity, right? So then the whole day, so you have to be in dark, right? So everything will be arrested, right? And the tax also the very hot topic these days. Of course, tax you have to pay, right? Otherwise you have to you will be in prison, so you'll be punished with the imprisonment, right? And then the debts dues within the year, right? Within a year or within the particular period, right? Whatever, maybe it's a year, it may be month, right? It may be a week or whatever, right? So that has to be paid, right? Otherwise, so the other party will go into the court. So therefore, these are the examples, right? These are examples, and for the current assets and the current liabilities. So then when you deduct the current liabilities from current assets, then you get the working capital. So this has to be in a buffering level, right? If you subtract from this from the top to top line, from the bottom line from the top line, then if it comes minus, then of course this business is going to be it's not going to be a sustainable business. So therefore it's a very important you to keep the working capital in a healthy situation. It's a fundamental thing, right? Because I have seen lots of organizations were bankrupted, and it has gone into the negative vicious cycle, like our country in last March and April and May, right? So there was no fuel, right? Energy crisis, right? So we had to spend the hours and hours and even days and days in a fuel queue, right? So then our productivity is totally wasted, right? Totally wasted, right? The time of the seeing patients, so we have been spent the precious time on a queue on the roadside, right? And then the power cuts, of course, 6 hours, even up to 10 hours it has gone, right? So then the productivity all the downgraded. So some companies, of course, the BOI companies and the international companies, of course, they were some companies of they have lifted their businesses to Vietnam, Bangladesh, and even to the India and that sort of countries, because of when the infrastructure is defected, so no one can survive in that environment. So like that, if you don't have the power, if you don't have water, right? If you don't have the basic medical facilities, then of course no one of us can survive in that environment. So therefore, that has to be maintained. To maintain that basic things, of course, you need to maintain a good working capital, right? The Srimal, your next question, of course, how would you start a business? So this is again very important. Those who are trying to start, or those who are doing a business. So these are very important. The unit have the four things, very important four things. That is the land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship, right? So the land, so you have to pay the rent for the land, right? unless you purchase it outright, right? Though you have to, the rent for land, and then the labor. Of course, we have to hire the labor, right? We have to hire the labor. So then you have to pay the wages, right? You have to pay the wages, and the capital. You need to have the initial capital, right? Whatever you do, you need to have a initial capital to start up a business. So then the capital may be own capital, maybe loan capital, right? Capital you can find the your own money. The usually we do not advise as a the advice, the business management advisor. Of course, we do not advise not to have loan money, but it should be maximum 1-to-1. The 50% loan, 50% on, right? So then you can mitigate the risk of the future risk, future financial crisis risk. Of course, you can the mitigate that with that, right? So then the anyway you have to get the capital. So for the capital, of course, you have to pay the interest, right? So land you have to pay the rent, labor you have to pay the wages, and the capital you have to pay the interest, right? So then the entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship is the most important thing, right? So to be an entrepreneur, so you need to have again the skills, the knowledge and the skills, right? Knowledge and the skills. So you need to have the entrepreneurial knowledge. Of course, still I can remember when I have started one of my organization in 2005. So I was just the MBBS medical doctor who was attached to the Ministry of Health, and then we have started that, and sort of the healthcare related business, and we have been, it was authorized to start a business, the healthcare businesses for the doctors by the 78 Constitution. Before the 78, before Mr. J.R. Jayawardena comes, it was prohibited to government doctors to engage even in the private practice. But it was the release in the 1978, and then so or anybody of us can still it is there, and you can have your own business in the medical related businesses. So then when I started that, of course, the tax people comes and cheat us actually. And insurance people comes and some people, not all, trying to cheat us. The labor people comes and trying to cheat us, right? So even some corrupted suppliers, of course, was trying to cheat us. So then I thought that, but I must learn this business management in proper way. So that's why I started the business management diploma, because I was not the commerce or the business management field in my basic degree was the medical degree. So therefore, the university told me, no, dear, so you can't do the master degree, and you had to do the diploma first. Then of course I did the diploma, spending 2 years, and then then after that, so I thought that it's very good, and then I have just I want to do the masters in business management. So that's how it goes, and so then ultimately I thought that just no point of having that, and I should go to the PhD level. So that was the my revolution in business management. So I was talking about the entrepreneurship. So to be a good entrepreneur, you need to have a basic knowledge of the businesses and the economic situations, the national economic situations, even provincial economic situations, and the global economic situations. So all those things you need to have. You have to read, right? You read the monthly the central bank press release. And now, of course, those are very readily available. If you go into the internet, so those are very readily available. So therefore, it's not a matter the finding the facts. Of course, when we were medical students, we have become doctors without Google, right? Now, of course, when we ask the current medical students, can you? I mean, so they shocked, they're surprised, right? So but we became this level without Google. So those days, of course, I can still remember when we want to find some facts, right? When we want to find some facts. So it was extremely difficult, right? When we all know that some medical books, of course, it consists of more than 2,000 or 3,000 pages, right? So then, so you had to go to the index and find for the word, and there are about 25 places the words. So then you have to turn the books in all these pages. But now, of course, now it's very easy you to find the facts and get the knowledge. But the important thing is to get the applicable knowledge, right? The knowledge, of course, it's with this, right? So if you get this sort of device, and you can find the knowledge, but that knowledge is not sufficient, because you need to have a knowledge which is a applied knowledge, the applicable knowledge. So then, of course, then only you can start off a business, and you will be a real entrepreneur, right? And then it's very important again you to have a SWOT analysis, right? If you are starting a business, so it's very important you to have a SWOT analysis. This is SWOT. The SWOT mean the strength, weaknesses, and the opportunities and threat. So this is very important, right? If you see this this diagram, right? The strength and opportunities are very helpful to achieve your objectives, right? If you do something, so you need to have a draw the objectives, right? Goals and objectives, right? So you need to have a goals and objective. If you do some project, right? If you are going to prepare a project report, so you have to identify the clear goals and objectives, right? So then your strength, you should understand what is your strength, right? Then what are the opportunities that you have, right? Those are very important. And the strength is the internal. That is if it is an organization, the strength is the internal environmental factors, or we would say the micro factors, right? Micro environmental factors, right? Then opportunities are outside. It's a macro environmental. We would like to say the external factors, external environment, right? When you get an organization, so within the organization, it's called the internal environment of the organization, like a even person, right? So I have the internal environment, right? All others are external environment for me, right? So then the strength is the internal environmental factor. Weakness also opposite that. The weakness also the internal environment. That is harmful. The weaknesses are harmful to achieve the goals and objectives. So therefore, you have to eliminate your weakness, and you have to get more strength, right? And the organization also same. When you explore the opportunities of the external environment, right? Also, you have to look for the threats also. So what are the threats that comes from the environment, right? So that, of course, you need to have a very clear understanding of the strength, your weakness, and the external opportunities and the external threats, right? So those are the external factors. The opportunities and threats are external factors. I think now you must have got the clear understanding of so what is SWOT analysis. So this is the analysis of the analytical parameters are very strictly related to the business or the person or the organization or the country, right? Okay, next slide, please. Right. Then the PESTEL analysis. PESTEL analysis also, again, it's a very important. So PESTEL analysis is the analysis of the external factors. The internal factors, of course, you can manage the internal factors. External factors are beyond our control, right? Most of the time, external factors are beyond our control. So therefore, you have to change yourself to fit to the external environment, right? It's like the fittest will survive. So there is a basic the embryological or the what do you call it, the not embryological, the genetical things, no. So the fetus will survive, right? We all know that the small the butterflies who is in UK, Manchester especially, in before the industrial revolution, there were white butterflies in the environment, and the environment was white, right? Then that is the adaptation to the environment, and but when the UK the industrial revolutions started, the lots of the environmental pollutions has happened, and then the environment became the dark, right? So then the all these white butterflies were very highlighted in the environment when they just go and stay in a dark environment or the black environment, then they have been highlighted. So therefore there were some these birds with the getting these butterflies. So then they all eat the butterflies. So then there was some the mutation or whatever. Then the butterflies became black, right, to fit to the environment. So like that, and then like that, this pestle analysis, the external environment, of course, you have to change yourself to fit for the external environment. So the P is the political, that is the government policies, that the political stability, right? Now currently, of course, we don't have a much good political stability in our country, right? Government policies also time the very bullshit policies they are bringing, right? So these are the questionable in our country, right? Government policies, the political stability, then the corruption, of course, maximum, right? And then the foreign trade policies, of course, so those are not that, and then the tax policy, right? The labor laws, trade restrictions. So those are the important, the political, the involvement to any business. Then the environmental, right? Economic growth, right? Not this E is not for the environmental, this E for the economic, right? Economic growth. Then the exchange rate, of course, it was badly affected. The especially the import industry, right? The exchange rate was badly affected from last March to April, May, right? Again the sudden break of the LKR, right? With that, of course, it was the very unfavorable for the national economy. Then the interest rates, again, the loan interest rates went up to the sky, right? So now even TOD, that is the temporary overdraft, of course, it charged more than 30% of the interest, right? So no one can get OD facility now, right? So you'll be bankrupted, or you have to give all your asset to the bank if you go for the OD facility at this moment, right? So then the inflation rate, of course, now the last month the inflation rate is the December inflation rate was the 58 in this in Sri Lankan economy. That is the main inflation, and then of course, last month it was the January. It was 52 or 54. Anyway, it was the lower than the December. So that is why I told you very first. Now we have just started the recovery, right? And the dollar also now it's becoming lower. So it was December. It was in the 369. That's the selling rate. But now today it is I think it is 359 or somewhere there, right? So therefore, so those indicators are becoming, right? And then the inflation rate, then the unemployment rate. So that also was in the problem in Sri Lanka. The unemployment rate also going up, even with the small jobs. Of course, the salaries, the wages are not enough them to survive with the basic utilities, right? So then the social, right? Population growth, the rate, age distribution, career, the career attitudes, the safety, emphasize health, right? And the lifestyle and the cultural barriers, all those are very important, right? And then the technical, right? Technical, of course, it's very important again. Being a technical people, we all are technical people. So all doctors are technical people. So it's very important you to understand the latest technologies and the use latest technologies, right? So I can remember it's about 3 years ago, I just went for Japan for the healthcare workshop. And there, of course, I was mainly interested on the elderly healthcare, and I have visited a few elderly healthcare institutes, and of course, they have the very advanced apps to take care of their elderly people, the specially debilitated people. Even caregiver can see the with his or her app in the mobile phone the situation of the patient and the person, where is in the bed, whether it's a corner of the bed or whether he is sitting on the bed or lying down on the bed. So that sort of things, right? And then there are some robots, and when the elderly person get up from the bed, so then robot is sensed, and robot is shouting, so don't go to the bed, sit down and lie down, so like that, right? So technology has been used maximally. And we also have to use the technologies, and special doctors, of course, we need to keep our records in a patient in a cloud base or even device base or whatever, right? Our patients, of course, we have to keep records, and we have to use the patient management platforms, right? Nowadays, of course, we all are using the learning management platforms. Of course, the university staff, the university people, of course, they have developed lots of learning management platforms, and we also have to develop the patient management platforms, and it's there already, lots of organization, and now it's but I see that in the comparative to the other field, of course, we are a little bit our development of using these latest technologies is little behind, right? Little behind in Sri Lankan context. Not the global, but in Sri Lankan, of course, we are a little bit reluctant to use even a patient management platform to see our patient, right? So the lots of people, doctors are thinking it's another burden, right? But it is not so. So if you adapt to that sort of the platform, of course, it will be very easy you to manage your patients, right? And then the level of innovation and automation, right? Automation also again very important, and we need to automate even the hospitals. The latest hospitals, of course, automated very innovative automations are ongoing in global. If you go into the global healthcare market, of course, there are lots of the automation are been going on. And then the technological awareness, yes, so those are important. And then environmental, right? Weather condition, climate, environmental, then the environmental policies and climate change, the pressure of NGOs, that also important. Even we have experience in the wartime, how the NGOs were influenced to the war. And the internal the management of the country, and so those things are very important. And then the legal. So legal also very important, and discrimination laws, right? So because so there are some discriminations, especially when it applicable to the BOI project or the corporate market or the individual, their proprietorships. And that sort of the legal environment also there. Then antitrust law, employment law, consumer protection law, copyrights and patent law, and those things are very important, and health and safety. So those are the important things in the starting business, and those are the things that you have to consider. Right. So when it comes to crisis situation, so I can still remember. So I was managing the orchid farm and we have the floriculture farm and the company. And when we start when the COVID started, of course even a single flower was not sold. And then of course it was very difficult me to maintain that the farm and the tissue culture laboratory and everything. So then then what we have done, we didn't give it up. And I can still remember in Netherlands, of course I went Netherlands to learn about tissue culture and the floriculture. So I have spent about 2 weeks in Amsterdam to learn those things. And then I saw that the even these loaders were pulling out the flowers in Netherlands. So then what we have done, we have shifted to banana. The banana plant, plant not cultivation, the propagation in the tissue culture. Tissue culture. Of course, we did the banana. So then of course there were lots of banana plants selling in the country, right? So then we survive with that. So like that, and when it comes to a unfavorable situation, you have to switch into another favorable situation, right? Favorable situation. So that is very important. Rather than you just shut down your business and begging in the roadside. So it's very important you to switch into another profitable business, and you continue your operation. So that is what is called the diversification. So you can diversify your things, right? So there are some forward diversification and the backward diversification in the value chain. So those things are, this is not the platform to talk about those things. Of course, I think Shrimal, now our time is almost going in, and so is there anything?
So Ravira, allow me to interrupt you. We have a few questions from our viewer base.
Yeah.
One is, as a medical practitioner, what are the possibilities to increase our income or secondary income? So what are your suggestions for increasing our incomes? And furthermore, as government medical practitioners, what is your expert opinion or your expert suggestion to overcome this current situation?
This is a very open question, because even my presentation also I have mentioned that any ethical business, any ethical involvement as to not to degrade our dignity as a medical practitioner or the medical personnel. So in myself, but I have as I said, I have some agricultural activities. I have some the tissue culture activities. So I was engaging in floriculture, right? Then the related business like medical laboratories, right? And the private hospitals, right? All those things I'm involving. And in addition to that, so I hire my knowledge to the global community, right? So there is a company called GLG, Gerson and Lehman in America. So I am selling my time to the global community. And even recently, I have given my consultation to the BCG, Boston Business Group, right? So even very recently, I did another lecture to the post MBA, postmaster, the business management postmaster group of the Japanese people. That was, I just share my experiences with them. So like that, so you can do anything. I mean, you can't start you can't go to the fair and sell your product, but there are some ways to do it. Rather than the degrading your dignity. That is very important again, because don't forget about the Viola clinicians, right? Viola clinician. So that has to be the maintain. I suppose that everybody should maintain your status. That is not the false things. I mean, that is not the things that you should get the soul headed or anything. But as a person, you will have to be down to earth and but we have to maintain all our status and the dignity, right? So you can do at anything that is specific to your environment, your knowledge, your abilities, right? You do the SWOT analysis first, right? If anyone who wants to start a business, so you just do the SWOT analysis. What are the strengths that I am having, right? What are the weaknesses that I am having? What can I do to overcome these weaknesses, right? What are the opportunities that around me, right? What are the opportunities that around me, right? What are the threats that around me? So that is how you do. If anyone wants to get the personal advice of the particular business, of course, it is not the time for. This is not the time for that. Of course, you can contact me, and so I can advise on that.
So, Dr. Suravira, going further into these questions that we have received, there's another regarding that same topic. What are the online aspects or online possibilities, marketing or any other, to overcome this crisis situation for medical practitioners? That means I guess they wish to know about online opportunities for doctors.
Yeah, there are lots. So you can start off even global medical advisory platform, right? Now, for example, those who are practicing, those who are doing good practices, maybe general practice, maybe the consultant or the specialist practices. So how many people comes to you just to get to know the things, right? Doctor, I have undergone this surgery. I was sick last month. Like that, how many people are coming? Because there is a big vacuum of the medical education and the medical knowledge that is not only Sri Lanka, it's in the global population even, right? So you can start up very good software, right? Software and the very good platform to educate people, right? So they can log into the system, and so there will be some credit card or the debit card or whatever, the hourly or the by minute, of course. So you can charge them, right? Those are very ethical things, because if a tuition master also, so they are selling their knowledge. So even I myself, I do the consultation, global consultation. So I have been paid $250 per hour, right? So it is very, so when I was in government sector, so I could earn my whole government salary with 2 hours, right? Within 2 hours. So we can do it, right? And or even education. So education again. So medical, the doctors can educate people, right? It may be A levels, maybe medical faculty people, right? Maybe even there are some doctors who are engaging in teaching science to the O levels, right? Science to the O level. So I don't see that's any problem with that. So there are doctors who are teaching physics, who are teaching the chemistry and biology, right? So you can create an online platform and you can do, right? So those things with the technology, the only thing is you need to have a very good the computer, the software, right? You have to create a software, and so you have to do it. And there is one of my friend. He's an engineer. He is the preparing garments for the global market, the individual, right? So what they have done, they have a very highly sophisticated website, right? So you have to go and just give 2 measurements only, right? This, I think, this color and some other measurement. So then they will create the dress for you, right? You can select the button, you can select the collar, you can select the cuff, right? You can select the fabric, right? Then when you change it, the dollar price, of course, it displayed in the corner, right? So they are doing the individual garment, right? So I have visited his factory. The more than 450 people are doing the operating machines, and now he has the automate the whole process is now automated, right? So like that. So there are Even if you think about this now, the Booking.com website, right? Amazon, right? So they are earning, right? I have visited this Booking.com, the head office in Amsterdam, right? Because I used to book hotels through Booking.com. So then suddenly when I just walking along the street, so I thought the Booking.com headquarters. Oh my God! So then I just visited the place. So only 2 girls were there. Only 2 girls were there. But they are earning millions of dollars. So that is how the business is. Yes, Sriman.
Yes, so Dr. Surabhira, so coming to the end of our discussion, we have seen medical professionals looking at foreign opportunities and attempting to travel abroad for employment, and we have also seen the Ministry of Health trying to sabotage this at every corner. So, what is your idea on doctors migrating?
Yes, it's a very good question. It's a very timely, important question, Srimal. The one thing is, I don't look at it. Every person who is going to abroad is a brain drain, because we need to have people, our people, the Sri Lankan people, in a top global positions, right? So that is very important. As a nation, as a country, it's very important us to keep the people, the Sri Lankans, in a top positions, in global top positions, right? So that's the one thing. So for that, of course, we have to migrate, and we have to achieve that sort of positions, right? Even those days, still I can remember that this is famous story. The Professor Arjuna Vihare was the professor of surgery in Peradeniya. So my boss was in my internship, and he flew to UK, and then one of the SR was called to pick him, and then so he took that SR to everywhere. And then the tomorrow was the examination. So then so ultimately he said, "Sir, my exam is tomorrow." So then the prof says, "Okay, you don't mind it." So then ultimately, once he go to the examination panel, then Alua was there, right, as the examiner, right. So then of course there was no problem, right. So he has gone to conduct the examination. So like that. And now one of my batchmates is there again in UK. She's a pediatrician. She's serving to the NHS, National Health Services, and then she's in charge of getting the pediatric trainees to the NHS in the Southeast Asian region. So then when it comes to the Sri Lankan, then of course then she cannot do any favors. But what she does is she used to say, this is coming, make right, you have to get ready, right? So like that. So that is the additional advantage for us. But due to the crisis, this is a false sense of security, right? False sense of phobia even, right? The just going to another country and doing the petrol station pump and job, of course, that is I don't encourage, right? It's wrong, right? Or picking up the eggs in a poultry farm. So those things, I mean, we should not fall into that level, right? We should not fall into that level. And because of the crisis, because of the economic crisis of the country, I mean, just going abroad it's not justifiable. That should not be done. But what I explained earlier, so that has to be done, I think. So that should be done. So we have to be. I mean, in the global, so globalization, global citizen, as a global citizen, of course we have to be in the here and there. So we need to have the very good GPS locations, right, to place our people here and there, right. So that is important.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Surabhira. So, as a conclusion, is there any advice that you would like to give us? Any message, final message you would like to share with us?
Yeah, take home message is the now we have started to the recover from the bad economy, and but there are some constraints. Of course, we don't know the how the political behavior of this country, so that may ruin our the predictions and expectations. So that is there. The keeping in a side, keeping it in a side of the mind, but the generally now we have started to recover from the economic crisis. And then the second one is the engage and engage with an ethical businesses as a doctors, right? That is very ethical. It should be ethical, right? It's always don't break the code of ethics, don't break the principles of medicine. If you are engaged in a the private practice or private hospital or private laboratory or whatever, so never ever break the principles of medicine and the code of ethics. So that is very important. That's very important. So we all have to do it with the confined environment. So we'll have to conform with the principles of medicine and the code of ethics. So that is what I can give. That is what my take-home message to all of you.
So thank you very much, Dr. Suravira, for today's informative and interesting discussion, and for taking your time off your busy schedule. So Dr. PHR Suravira from Kurunegala joining us today, and to everyone, to all of our viewers, thank you very much for taking your time to join in. We have now come to the conclusion of this week's discussion, and thank you for your comments. So we will join you again in 2 weeks' time on the 16th of March for a new session on a topic related to our profession. Thank you very much. Good day.